Oh my gosh, it is late today, and no, I wasn't on a plane. I wasn't traveling anywhere. I am still sitting here in my chair, but the sun has shifted, so I'm kind of actually on the footstool. But I'm still here. I wanted to come to you guys and talk to you more about this IBS thing that we started last week. I don't want to leave you hanging in any way, shape, or form. I wish I had a time I could come to you guys live at the same time each week, but I don't know. I'm going to maybe have to reevaluate if Friday's the day or if I'm going to switch to another day where I think I could actually be home and be at like a consistent time so you guys know when to tune in. And so I am talking to you about this IBS thing, and I hope everybody is doing well. So today I'm going to talk to you about diet, what to do, what to use, eat, all that kind of stuff when you think you may have IBS. So one of the things we need to remember is that IBS is caused by a few different things. One could be poor lifestyle choices, like too much drugs, too much alcohol, that kind of thing. Those are things you got to kind of control. The other thing is like your stress level, whether or not you have leaky gut, that kind of thing can be a thing. Nutritional deficiencies in your body, also like food allergies and free radicals, things like that. Low fiber can also be something that will cause issues with IBS type symptoms. So I want to kind of go over the foods to avoid first, and then we're going to talk about the foods that you may want to bring into your diet to help. So the one thing I want you to think about avoiding are the big ones like gluten. And those are wheat products. So the gluten-free diet is really helpful if you suspect that you have anything going on that deals with IBS and all those symptoms from last week. So you have to check last week's Facebook Live to go over some of the things that I talked about. And I told you my story as to how I ended up realizing that I had IBS, but that it was a syndrome and it could be fixed. And I don't have IBS anymore. So that's a beautiful thing. So you want to avoid gluten. You want to avoid refined flour and sugars. So that's the stuff that's, all fluffy and white, that's been stripped of all of its fiber. And, you don't have any of the husks or grains or anything like that. So not meaning all flour, but the refined flours, things like that. Caffeine is a big no-no. I know a lot of you guys love caffeine, but if you have IBS or anything going on like that, caffeine is one of those things you're going to want to stay away from because it can irritate the gut lining. Grains can also be harsh, and I'm going to give you a little quick thing to understand that all grains are the seeds of grass. And if you don't realize that we can't actually digest grass as humans. So if I said go outside and eat grass like a cow eats grass, you would be sick, throwing up, and not happy. So some people really can't even digest the seed of grass. And every grain that we eat is actually a seed of a grass. So something to think about as far as limiting the amounts of grains. Spicy foods you want to avoid. And then the big ones like I said gluten, shellfish, nuts, and dairy in those formats. So that's one of those things. So the real quick, gluten, refined flours and sugars, caffeine, grains, spicy foods, and then things like shellfish, nuts, and dairy. Soy can also upset people sometimes, so you may want to look at that as well. All right, so now on to the good stuff. What can you do to help this process? Well, I would always say that bone broth is amazing. If you can make homemade bone broth, if not, finding a good organic bone broth will actually help to repair your gut lining, because right now you pretty much have holes in your gut lining. Sounds kind of gross, but that's what's causing the leakage. And we can talk more about what's actually happening with leaky gut and IBS later. But at this point, I just want you to know bone broth is one of those things that can actually heal. And that is personally one of the things that I did the most of. I drank 8 ounces of bone broth warm each day. And it truly has helped and made a difference. It's also great for your skin, bone broth and collagen. And I did a Facebook Live weeks ago on the benefits of bone broth. So you may want to check that one out. It's on YouTube. You will just see it. It'll be labeled bone broth. The next thing you want to think about is, now I know I said no dairy a few minutes ago, but we're talking about raw cultured dairy, especially from goat's milk that's made into kefir, is great for populating the digestive system with great probiotics for the body. The other thing, make sure that if your kefir, it has no A1 casein in it. All right, so no A1 casein in the ingredients. Also, drinking water about every 2 hours, 8 ounces is fabulous. All right, guys. And lean proteins and meats are very, very helpful as well. Drinking veggie juice, not fruit juice, but veggie juice is great as well. So taking time to do that. And then steamed vegetables, not raw vegetables. Raw vegetables actually can cause a lot of bloating and discomfort because once again, it's very hard to sometimes break down those fibers. But if you steam your vegetables, they can still be crisp. They don't have to be like literally mush in the mouth, that kind of thing. But those green veggies that are not carb heavy in the sense of like your squash and things like that. Summer squash is fine, but we're talking about like butternut squash and stuff. But more of your green vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, all of that kind of stuff. Definitely steam those, and that can actually help heal IBS symptoms. And then healthy fats, avocados, olive oil, cashews, things like that. Now, nuts can also be one of those things. Hey, Carrie, it's good to see you. Nuts can be one of those things that can upset people as well, or upset their gut. So you just be kind of careful. I always say lean more towards the avocados and the healthy oils. So now that I've gone through that, 20% of Americans have IBS. If you really have no idea what to do and you're looking for more direction, Google FODMAP, and that's FODMAP. All right, so that's FODMAP, FODMAP diet, that will help you understand how to take some of the foods that might be disrupting your digestive system and causing IBS symptoms. So, any questions for you guys out there watching about what foods to avoid and what foods to bring in after I just went over the list of both of them before I head off? I never want to have people on here and not be able to answer any questions that you might have. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to see if you are typing and want to ask something. But know that if you're watching this on the replay, still type in a question and I always respond to you guys. So I don't see anybody furiously typing or anything coming in, so I'm going to say peace and blessings. You know what I want you guys to do is to share this video, because you never know who's going through something, who has IBS, who is dealing with a daughter or a son or a cousin who's talking about this. And while I don't go into depth, I'm giving you enough of a nugget to go research and find out for yourself what can be helpful. So I pray that you guys just take a second. It's so easy to share this out. I'm not asking for anything from anyone from this. And if you want any more information about me, my background, what I do, especially if you're a stranger watching this, which hello and peace and blessings to you. My website is www.doallthingswithjoy.com. So, all right. Love you much. Have a great weekend. And I hope this list of the pros, the foods to eat and the foods not to eat is helpful, and start experimenting. See what might help.